What's going on, y'all? My name is Jay Faith, and this is the Right Mind Wednesdays podcast, where we sit down, make connections through conversations, hopefully inspire others in whatever it is that they are doing in their lives. I want to say God bless. I want to say that God loves you. I want to thank everybody that is tuning in, checking this out. Appreciate everybody, all of our followers, all of our listeners. This is a MOCG media production. I want to thank them for allowing us to be here. I want to thank 41st Studios for allowing us to be here in this beautiful space. Next, I want to introduce my co-host, L.Y.F.E. What's going on, man?
What's up? I'm good, man. How are you?
Hanging in there as always, as you know. It's awesome to be back. Glad to have you back, man. This is dope. But up next, episode 43, we got my man here back again. We're trying things out. For those of you that don't know, there has been a lot going on behind the scenes, but we are here and, just keeping our fingers crossed and just trusting everything to happen. But welcome our next guest, Th30ry. What's going on, man?
What up? What up? How y'all doing tonight?
Oh, man, as you know, I don't want to give too many details away because I'm just so over it at this point. But we are here and just glad to have you back, man. And, hopefully we can just get something rolling, man. And again, just kind of hear your story and, some dope stuff that you've been working on.
Yeah, man, it's good to be back. I appreciate you having me back again.
Had to make that a little bigger so we could see it a little bit. But so yeah, man, what's been going on with you? I know we kind of touched on it a little bit, but in the past, but just want to kind of bring that up because those are some pretty dope things that you got cooking up. And just want to see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, not too much has changed since we talked last. I know that I started last Monday. I started college courses at Full Sail University, and I'll have my associates in audio engineering in 14 months, and I'll have my bachelor's in music production in 29 months. So that's really exciting. I started those last Monday, and first week is going pretty well. Recording some new music, man. I just recorded something new yesterday, getting back into beat making and trying to exclusively do that. So I don't have to more, at least not all the time. I always want to support, but I'd like to be self-sufficient in that aspect. But yeah, other than that, man, it's just grinded, man. Full-time job, full-time school, full-time dad, full-time husband.
Full
Busy.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's good, man. It's gonna be worth it.
Yeah, man. I mean, Full Sail. I remember you talking about that. That's such a dope school to be a part of, especially for music and creation and stuff like that. So, I'm glad that you're able to, get into that, especially like you said, being a full time dad, making music now, adding on to the career and kind of expanding on your learning aspect of it all too. And I definitely agree as far as trying to save some money on the back end as far as not having to connect with producers, that you can definitely save a lot of money in the process, as we all know, as part of the process of just making music. Production definitely can put a hinge on what you're trying to do, especially when it comes to getting good quality and good stuff. But if you can do it yourself, I mean, it's so much better.
Yeah. I mean, I've been recording and mixing and mastering my own music. Really, the only puzzle piece I'm missing is just the production aspect behind it. And I've made some beats before. I know we've talked about it a little bit, but on my last album, my most recent one, Me Against the World, I had I had 4 songs on there that were self-produced. But I mean, I'm wanting to do it all so I don't have to worry about spending that extra money. It's school I'm not paying for, which is good. The VA is paying for all that,
Right.
which is cool. So, but I mean, outside of that, I would start investing into other things. Like, part of why I'm working as hard as I am at my job is because I want to actually save up money to fund a small tour. Maybe in Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio area, and stop at maybe like a 2-week tour or something like that, and just do some shows and kind of get my name out there to areas besides the Louisville area area and the surrounding cities. I want to network out and start to really grow. So
I definitely feel you on that. That was something that actually Life and I were just talking about off air, about just trying to expand ourselves, get out there. That's definitely my mindset. We're actually looking to go on tour ourselves together, along with fellow MOCG member Michael Murphy the third. I had to make sure that I said that correctly because MoFlo is not his name anymore. But we're trying to go on tour as well too, and kind of do kind of like a New England run, at least for now for us, because even
exciting.
speaking for myself, huh?
So that's exciting.
Yeah, speaking for myself, and I was talking to somebody just the other day. To me, I feel as long as that I've been doing music for, which is roughly around 10 years, I've only performed in New Hampshire and Mass, and where Maine, Vermont, Connecticut. Well, I just hit Rhode Island, so I can cross that one off actually. But like Connecticut, Maine, Vermont are so close, and the fact that I haven't hit them yet, for me, I feel like I'm not doing my work the way that I should. I feel me personally haven't gotten that, and because I haven't gone out there, I guess you could say I'm a little discouraged, but you know, so that's why we're trying to just go on tour, hit some connecting places. We have some Minds of One Collective Genius fans in different areas in the New England area, especially Vermont. So we definitely want to go back, just repping the brand. Obviously repping the merch. He's got some merch on tonight. Uh, just to get out there and add some additional faces. We had Just for Kicks, who's another one of the people from our group. Shout out to him, who was out there. So they're waiting for us to get back out there. So it'll be dope to finally make that connection.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been, and I know again we've discussed this before as well, but I haven't been doing music that long. I haven't even hit 4 full years yet. That's gonna come next month. So, all the projects that I've done, I I want to do more with that. So
Mhm.
like audio visuals, that's a big thing that I'm lacking right now. So like
Yeah.
2023 for me is super focused on the growth of what I already have versus trying to just pump out constant material and flooding
Right.
flooding people with all this new music. And it's like, well, if all I can do is listen to you on Spotify or Apple Music or Amazon Music or Tidal or Deezer or music, to me, that's boring.
Mhm.
Right? You want to be able to put a face to the name and to the voice, and seeing those audio visuals also will allow the artist to, show their creative side. And I work with a good group of guys now. We're very very tight knit. It's some friends of mine that I've known for pretty much the entire time I've been doing music. Most of them.
Yeah.
And I have LLC I started here in Kentucky called From the Bottom, and this is just now. I started it in 2019, and this is just now starting to gain some traction because I'm deciding to really do something with it. So myself and 6 other artists, Berserk, shout out Berserk, shout out Mercury, shout out Be Good, shout out Saint, shout out Menkari, shout out Ryan Watts. Uh, all of us and Tim, Weekend Clouds, that's my homie.
Yeah.
All of us are coming together as a collective to really drive each other and to make something big. Like, this is Louisville talent at its core.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like we're a threat to these other artists. Like, they've already got eyes on us and they know that we're coming with something. They just don't know what it is. And we've been hinting at the From the Bottom thing, hashtagging FTB on each other's pictures and this and that. And
Yeah.
we got a lot of plans in the works, man. And I'm not going to go ahead and disclose all that right now, but we got a lot of plans in the works, man. 2023 is going to be a year that really kind of boosts us forward if we do it right. So
Hell yeah. And I would love to see like Louisville hip hop like rise to a certain point where like, like you said, like other people are like on it, because like I don't hear like too many artists from like Louisville. You know what I mean? Other than you now. But yeah, for you guys to be able to, bump that up like we're trying to, bump up like Boston hip hop in New England, that would be cool to see.
Yeah, man. I mean, you hear Louisville and you think Jack Harlow, and then you think
Yeah.
and then you think Bryson Tiller.
Yeah.
Those are the two biggest artists that have come out of this city.
Yeah.
And even Jack Harlow says it in his interviews. He's mentioned it in some of his songs. He wants to kind of set a pace and put other artists that are in Louisville on, and like set a path for them to go and just wreck it. Like there's a lot of talent in this city that most people don't know, but also I think it's because there's a very toxic music scene here as well.
Mhm.
And I don't want to be any part of that. That's why we're kind of
Yeah.
going out on our own and we're doing our own thing,
Yeah.
because we want to be a tight knit group where we have each other's backs, we trust each other, and we're making moves for the good of the collective to be able to boost forward and be successful. And if you got a bunch of snakes in your grass, like
Yep.
that's not right. So we've already had an attempt for somebody to kind of come in, and they wanted to come in and decided to throw me this pitch for a show, and I was like, that's cool and all, but I got to talk to my homies about it first. And the dude was like, well, this is how I'm gonna do it, and like if you can't give me control of this and this and that, then I'm just gonna keep my own thing. And I'm like,
Oh.
bro, this is my company. Like,
Right.
what are you
You're gonna come
talking
in
about?
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like who are you? Like, you're not gonna. Number one, you're not gonna talk to me like that. Number two, you're not gonna come into my company and just think that I'm gonna be like, here you go. I'm just gonna sit back like a lot of owners of companies probably do. But that's not how I operate. Not only am I the owner of the company, but I am an artist myself.
Right.
So I have to look at my brand and how I want it to operate also. So, not only am I doing things for the benefit of myself, but I'm doing things for the benefit of our group. And I have 6 other guys now that are a part of this movement, which is it's more of a movement. Like, we want to really kind of just rise to the top, man. And we have the potential to do it. There's so many talented people in this group right now, and
Mhm.
all 7 of us. And it's everybody's gonna see it, and then they're gonna be like, damn, I probably shouldn't have done what I did or said what I said.
Right.
I just heard some shady shit today from that same guy talking to one of my other buddies that's in the group, and he was like, I don't think FTB has your best interest in mind. And dude's like, bro, get the fuck off my phone. Like,
How do you know about something that you didn't establish, you're not a part of, that you're just trying to walk in on? And like, clearly, to me, the way I see that is they do see the value in it, because they're getting offended by it. They're approaching first off, you're approaching something that you have no idea about, so you clearly see the value in it. Or else, why? I mean, to me, why would you invest your time and your energy into it and then talk all this smack when people turn you down? So
yeah,
you already see the value. To then say that the best interest is not there, like, to me, that's almost hypocritical.
it's extremely critical. And this person was, I should say, kind of still is, but I'm keeping close tabs on it. But they were a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
He had put me and all, a bunch of my homies that are in this group. He put us all on a bunch of shows, and I just did a show that he threw together on just December 16th or 17th,
Mm.
and I was one of the headlining events. he wanted me to be a headliner because he's like, dude, you're dope. Like, you bring a crowd and like people really like your music. So I want you to headline with Mercury, who is also in
Yeah,
FTB. And I was like, absolutely. Like, of course I'll do that. Why wouldn't I? And so for that to happen and then turn around and try to stab me in the back like that, that's messed up.
that's
And
wild.
yeah, I think about that as more of a jealousy thing because he sees the potential in what this group has and he sees the artists that are involved in it, and he knows that we're going to do something, and he can feel it and he can see it and he can hear it, and we're being talked about. So he's like, let me hop in on this. And then I'm just like, nah, bro. Like, if he would have approached me and been like, hey, man, I have this idea and, run it past the guys and this and that, and we'll talk business about it, like, I would have been a lot more open to that. But then he just started hitting me, and that's how he started. But then
Mm.
he's just started hitting me with the whole, well, if you're not going to give me full control to throw shows together and do what I got to do, then I'm not. And I'm like, dude, why would you even think that you're just going to be able to come in and just take control of everything that I've worked hard to put together? Like,
It's as
no.
if he's trying to make a name for himself off of what someone else has built. He's
Yeah.
trying to take
Mhm.
your product and basically kind of claim it as his, and book all these shows and look what I'm doing for this group and this, talent talented people and everything, and they're killing it, and look what I did, instead of really trying to cultivate it better, like you said.
Yeah. 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 And it's just, I wasn't expecting that from my own camp, you
Yeah,
know.
that's tough.
That's the suckiest part, is that I had to hear this from an inside source, and it was somebody that I knew and considered a good friend, invited him over to my house. We've had recording sessions where he's just sat here and chilled. He came here and got my wife stoned multiple times just because they smoke, they have fun, whatever.
Hmm.
It's like, all right, well, I guess, there's no more on that chapter, because I don't want to have any part of that negativity. Like, this year's really got to be serious. I got to be on it. And like I said, I have other people who are also counting. I mean, they're individual artists as well. It's not like, we're relying on the group as a whole
Hmm.
to do
Right,
everything
right,
for us. But
right.
like,
That's like us. Yeah.
yeah, so like, but at the same time, I still do have that responsibility to where I've told you that this is the plan that I have. So how much of a pile I would, like, if I was like, oh, dude, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do this, and all of a sudden we didn't do anything.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I have to stay on my P's and Q's also, and make sure all my T's are crossed and my I's are dotted to ensure the success of the group. And they all have to do the same thing. So when I got the call today from Mercury and he was telling me about what happened, I was like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, the fact that you come to me about it because you felt like this was bothering you, and this is something that you want to bring to my attention so we can address it as a collective. That's
Hmm.
what it really is about. So you just got to have that trust.
Yeah, it's important. That's crazy that it's like from your own camp too, like people that you literally brought in your corner. But at the same time, it's kind of one of those things. At least to me, how I view it is just even those negative people. It's there to teach you something. It's there to not to not trust anybody. You don't. I don't think you want to go down that road, but it's just learning to know who to keep in your camp and the people that you can kind of spot those signs of, okay, like you're welcome, but I'm gonna watch you, and if you start kind of exhibiting some signs that just maybe just don't coincide with what we're trying to do, then that's just negative vibes that we just can't have. That's a poison that we can't have in our group, because it's just gonna trickle down into everybody else, and then it's just gonna crash from within.
Yeah, and I think that's funny because that's what Mercury was telling me. He was like, "Man, I feel like he's doing this to cause drama within the group because they don't want to see us succeed." And I was thinking about this as a broader picture too, because like if you have something when you're starting off this early and something like this is already happening, imagine it could be on a much larger scale.
Right.
So like you have to be prepared as a business owner, but as an artist, that there's going to be people that are going to be around you that will eventually be like that because they hate on your success. And it's crazy that you think about that, or you don't think about that when you're an up and coming artist, and when you're focused on is your passion for making music, but then you try to do something with that music and it starts gaining traction. Now all of a sudden all these people who were in your corner are like trying to sideswipe you, and it's like, dude, what just happened? Like what changed between now and then?
Right.
It happens mad quick too. Like all of a sudden, like you're taking all of this time to just rip somebody down. Why?
Yeah, it happens fast as hell. And it's like
Yeah.
and like we've been saying, it's usually the people who are, the ones cheering you on are the ones first to stab you in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So, you just gotta stay vigilant and make sure that, you watch your own back and you keep your circle small with people that you can trust. My wife actually had something to say about it. She was like, I just don't like this whole idea, and I don't like what he's suggesting, and I think he has ulterior motives. And I was like, no, he's cool. Like I'll talk to the guys about this. And then all of a sudden, boom, flipped into this, and I'm just like, well, I'm glad I didn't go down that road because that would have been a nuclear bomb in something that I just started, and then I would have been back to square one, and I would have lost all motivation.
For real. And like as much as it sucks to go through that, like we need to have these kind of things happen so that way, like if something like that happens again, you'll be able to foresee it.
Keeps you
And
diligent.
right, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You gotta keep your guard up, and you gotta stay focused, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I've spent so much time just worrying about, like I said, just pumping out music, just
Yeah.
flooding people with music, album every year, singles in between. But I haven't been focusing on my social media presence, which I need to focus on. Using TikTok, it's a huge networking platform for music. So I gotta get better at that. I don't even.
Yeah.
I mean, I know how to like take a video and upload it, but I don't know how to do all that editing stuff where people are making themselves into like 3 different people, and it's like talking to themselves, but they're really talking to their producer, and they come in the studio and it's like, oh yeah, I don't know how to do any of that shit. I gotta learn.
It's all part of the process.
Yeah, it's a learning curve, but like once you master those things, the sky's the limit, and that's really what I need to focus on. So I've got the music out. I need to focus on building that music and doing something with to make it more creative and more appealing for people. And so that's what this year's main focus is going to be on. I mean, I'm still going to release, some music every once in a while. I'll release a single here and there, but as far as like a full project, I'm not going to release one. I don't really plan on releasing a full project until 2024.
Word, yeah.
Oh, damn.
That way you can just stack up. Sooner or later you have like 50 plus songs, 100 plus songs, and then like once 2024 hits, you have like multiple, different projects to like put together.
Yeah, have the like one of my rap idols, Logic. He mentions it on numerous songs. He's like, I have my whole discography done already. Like, and he's just steady dropping gems, in his album art. Like for his album covers, he'll have like little hints. Like, what was it? Bobby Tarantino 2, I think it was Bobby Tarantino 2. He had the supermarket book in his hand or on his lap or something like that. And then he dropped the supermarket book, but like nobody ever would have thought of that at that point in time, So like doing stuff like that, that's going to keep like throw Easter eggs in there to keep the public and keep your fans excited. I had a guy that lives in Maine. I've never met him, but he's a huge fan. Him and his wife are a huge fan of mine. And they were talking to me. So after I dropped Me Against the World, the last song is so to give you a small little bit of what the album is based on, it's my Look at Me Now album, which came out in September of 2021, was my best work. I consider that my debut album, which showed me. Like, I mixed it, I mastered it, I recorded myself, I did everything from the ground up except beat
Yeah.
production. I didn't make any of the beats for that, but I did everything else in this basement right here. My apologies for the mess that you see behind me,
You're
by the way.
good, man. You're good.
But you know, the Me Against the World album starts off with me on a spaceship, and I'm alone, and I'm just floating around in deep space. And that's because I feel like the Look at Me Now album put me above everything I've ever done. And there's a artificial intelligence that's programmed into my ship, and its name is Eli, and it's R-Eli because I rely on this companion throughout my time in the album, but I call him
Yeah.
Eli. And basically, Earth is sending me all these hate messages, and like, you know, you're too old to rap. I'm 34 years old, so you're too old to rap. You're white. You're a guest in the House of Hip Hop, and blah 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 blah. All
Right.
the same little, you know,
All the
comment.
little tidbits they throw
Yeah,
out there. Yeah.
all the little stereotypes for white rappers. Oh, you sound like Eminem. You sound like Logic. You sound like this. You sound like that. You should stop. You suck. So the whole premise of the album was all those shots that Earth is sending to me that's making me, you know, it's making me angry. So I clap with just heaters, just bars and bars and
Yeah.
bars, and really it's my middle finger to the world saying like it's me against you, like me against the world. And so the last song in the album is when the artificial intelligence, when Eli starts to get overloaded with all the songs that I'm making, and his memory is full, and it's making the ship malfunction. So the ship starts to go down, and Eli tells like I put a effect on there where it sounds all jumbled and it sounds like it's skipping and all that with his voice, and he's like, you need to prepare for a crash landing. And so I'm like, where is it gonna crash? And he's like, prepare for a crash landing on Earth. And I'm just like, no. And like you literally hear the spaceship blowing up, and I'm just like going crazy, like, oh my God, everything's blowing up around me. Oh my God. And then I just yell at the top of my lungs, and then the album's done.
Mm.
Wow.
And it's like a total cliffhanger. So this guy from Maine, I know it was a little long of a
You're good. Man.
little
You're
bit
good.
long
I
sidetrack,
get you.
but the guy from Maine, he messages me the day after I dropped the album, and he's like, "Yo, what the hell happens? Like,
Yeah.
is Eli like gone? Like, he was cool throughout the whole album, and you know, this, that, and the other. Like, you left us on a cliffhanger. I need to know what happens." And I'm just like, "You'll never know, because I'm the only one who knows what I want to do." And I mentioned it last time when we tried this podcast, but the album, I'll say it again, but the next album is going to be called Crash Landing,
Yep.
and
Yep.
that's all I'm going to say on it. But that's the
Word.
name of the next album,
That's it.
That
and
is
yeah,
dope.
that's
That's
it.
really cool.
But it's going to be
Yo,
like it's going to be like a self-reflection album, you know, for me to, you know, I was above everybody and I was above everything I did, and now all of a sudden I got to humble myself, and now I'm back on earth, and it's like, all right, so who am I and what am I about? And that's where I'm going to start to bring out my production and, you know, my creativity and the audio visuals, and I'm really going to start to showcase myself as an artist so people see the real me, kind of thing.
yeah, that is cool. That is sick. That's a very dope concept, and that's something that can like just keep going. You know what I mean? Like each album, like you could like end up somewhere else or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Just to feed ideas into you. You probably think about that
Yeah.
already.
No,
That
no,
was
it's a good idea.
yeah, yeah,
It's a Yeah, for sure. Because I mean,
Just built on each other.
yeah.
yeah, you know, and it's something like I don't want to bring back Eli. Um, the guy who did the voice for Eli is a friend of mine, and I didn't want to bring him back. So I actually thought about my stepdaughter's been dying to have me let her be a part of something with my music. So
Nice.
I thought about having like rebuilding Eli, you know, so to speak, for the Crash Landing album, and putting her voice as the new AI that I would build, and maybe have it in like an earpiece or like on a watch or something that shows, and just have her kind of guide me through everything. I don't know. It's an idea that I'm playing
Right.
with,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, you could find like the remnants of Eli, but it's like smaller pieces, but you still have like the hard drive and the memory of Eli, and you just got to like
yeah,
repair it, but it ends up modifying the voice a little bit, and you know,
hmm
cue your stepdaughter, and you know,
yeah. And I mean, I'm a huge Marvel Comics fan, and I'm a huge
mm,
Iron Man fan.
yeah,
So
so that
it's
makes
kind of
sense.
yeah, it's kind of like when Jarvis went away and he became Vision, and then Thanos got rid of Vision, and then Tony Stark brought back the AI, and he called her Friday, and it was a woman's voice.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's
yep,
so
yep,
it's
yep.
kind of the same concept, and I kind of wanted to work my Marvel nerdiness into
There
that
you go.
idea. So
That's dope.
Oh yeah, that's really cool because like not not many like hip hop artists like think that way. I mean, there are some, but like you're I just can't wait to hear it and can't wait to see like what you come up with with that. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. It's gonna be good. There's a
I,
couple songs.
want to see it all. Said I want to see it all unfold now.
Oh yeah, I got you.
I want to see where you crash landed. Like where did you end up?
He's waiting, man. He's waiting for it.
Yeah.
I don't even know, man. I haven't even thought about putting that together yet. I've had my hands so full, man. But
Hear
it's
that?
it's in the back of my mind. I know it's there, and like I said, I got a good group of guys that I'm working with now, and it's gonna be really really awesome what this year is gonna bring. I mean, we're gonna be releasing something as FTB uh, relatively soon for a track and a video.
Yeah.
That's in the works, but what it's about is going to be a surprise, and we're going to run with it. And it's a dope concept, and we got a lot of really awesome ideas stemming from that concept.
Hmm.
So, I'm just excited for everybody to see really what's been going on behind the scenes and start to be like, damn, dude, like this guy's really about it, and all these guys are really about it, and they're super talented, and we've been underestimated, and time to
Yeah,
take
I
it.
mean, yeah, I mean, I feel like you've always been on the right path. I mean, I remember when we first linked up back with like Anno Domini, and you think you had put out, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was on the like Hip Hop Saved My Life,
hmm
that whole project, and obviously we linked up with NSFW, and then on my own, and just hearing even back with the Hip Hop Saved My Life, that music, it was like still on par with, way above what a lot of people, like you said, like you've been doing this for about 4 years, and what a lot of people kind of first start into creating music, you can kind of hear it, but to me at least, it sounded more like I mean, I would say again, the like, kind of the Hip Hop Save My Life era, even like your sophomore, even like junior project. You know
hmm
what I'm saying? Like it was above what a lot of people kind of assume to be, where you would start off, but it was like far above that kind of level. And then obviously like you're already here, like you already have like that mentality of not only just creating music, but the importance of kind of having a storyline to it, as a lot of artists do. If you look at some of like the legendary people, there is that kind of just methodical kind of plot that goes along with the music. It's all kind of interconnected somehow, some way, that a lot of people can kind of miss if they're not paying attention.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Because I mean, the Hip Hop Saved My Life was the opening track for my debut album. That was my first album that I had ever put out on streaming platforms. And um, that album was the content was very raw.
Yeah.
I've focused a lot on spreading a message of dealing with anxiety and stress and depression and all those things that I felt. I know we had talked about it before, but I started because I had a bad anxiety attack that put me in the hospital,
Yeah.
and rushed on a stretcher out of my apartment in front of my 3-year-old daughter at the time and my wife now, and I felt like I was dying. And it was because I was under a lot of stress, and my car got repoed, and we evacuated a hurricane and lost our apartment in our house that we were renting at the time, and you know, stayed in a Red Cross shelter, stayed in hotels. You know, me and 4 other people, my daughter, my wife, her daughter, myself, and my cousin. So, and we were living off of $644 a month, which I was getting from the VA for my disability. So it was tough.
That's
And then
wild. Yeah.
and I lost my car, and then 2 days later, I'm in a hospital bed from stress, and the doctor's like, "Dude, you got to find out a way to figure out how to manage this stress. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's gonna kill you. Like stress is the number one killer in males between like 25 and like 35 or something, 25 and 40, something like that.
Right.
So you know that's a very real statistic. So I was like, well, oh my God, all right. So then my homie's like, dude, you just start rapping, and I was like, nah, man, I'm not gonna be very good at it. And then I just started to listen to a YouTube beat. It was a Mac Miller type beat, and I was like, all right,
Yeah.
I like this. And I started just writing my daily life, like just what I'm going through. And I've always been really good with poetry, so I just decided to run with it. And
Yeah.
that was it. And my buddy's like, dude, you're actually really good. Like you should
Keep
keep
this
going.
going. Yeah.
And I was just like, all right. And now we're here. So, you know, I've I've learned a lot of myself as a person, you know, since I started that journey, and I have a lot of people who have been with me since the beginning on that journey, and they are very proud of the artist that I've developed into. Um, but you know, back in the hip hop saved my life era, that whole Carpe Noctem album, I felt like I lacked a lot of energy. I wasn't as hype with my music. I was very monotone.
Mm.
I would sound believable, and you know, I didn't know what I was doing. I was using Audacity to record my music, so I had no clue
Got to
how to do
start somewhere, man.
it. Yeah, exactly. But like, I didn't know what to do except just hit a record button and talking to a Th30ry Amazon mic that I bought to my table. I
Yeah.
had no soundproofing. I think I had a pop filter, and that was it. So
Dude, dude, listen, my first album was made on GarageBand, and the first music that I ever created was through like first ever, not related to the project, but first music I ever recorded was GarageBand, and then I used a Rock Band microphone. Like the actual microphone from Rock Band, like USB, plug
yeah,
that sucker in, and we were often recording. Like no interface, no nothing, just direct connect Rock
yeah,
Band microphone, dude.
yeah. That's how it
Yeah,
was for
man,
me
we don't need
too.
none of
going
that.
for it.
Yeah,
That's how
we
it was
going.
for me too, man. I had a USB mic that I bought. It came with the microphone stand, or not the stand, the clamp. But
Yeah,
it was a USB mic. I didn't have an interface. I plugged in the microphone to the USB input in my laptop, and I had a shitty little Lenovo laptop that was old as hell,
nice.
and it was garbage, man. And like sometimes I would even take my buddy had what is it called, a rabbit's tail or something microphone. It's like a fuzzy microphone, and
Yeah.
it was real small. It was like a little ball, and I plugged it in to the bottom of my phone, held my phone, held the mic in one hand, held my phone in the other, read the lyrics, spit it into this little mic that was plugged into the audio jack, and then transferred. I saved those MP3s, emailed them to myself,
Dang, you
downloaded
went through
the
the
email.
process.
Dude, yeah, I was in my old apartment basement, like legit, like while I was doing that, I had a tall laundry basket, and I put it on top of my dryer and took damp towels and hung it over the front of the hamper so it would act as some kind of sound absorption so it wouldn't sound so echoey.
Like a
Yeah,
shield, yeah.
Like the
dang.
struggle was so real back then, man.
Yep.
And like if I were to be able to take my computer right now, I'm not gonna do that. But if I could take my computer right now and flip the screen and show you what I got now,
Yeah.
like I've invested so much money into everything. I got the Yamaha HS8s, which were expensive as shit. I got the Apollo interface, which was expensive. I got
Yep.
keyboards. I got a $900 MPC that I have no clue how to use.
But we
But
got one.
I'm gonna learn
But
how to use it.
you're learning though.
Yeah,
It's become an investment. You're going to school for that. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna teach me how to use an MPC, but I have YouTube. So, you can learn
Either
how to do
way.
anything on YouTube, but as long as I can learn the basics of it, like I'll play around with it, I'll fiddle with it. I'm gonna master that thing within the next 2 to 3 years, and I'm gonna be pumping out like stupid beats.
Yeah.
And it's
I-
just it's a passion, man. If you really care about it and you really love to do it, man, it's not work.
For sure.
So I don't ever look at it as work. I don't ever like sit in bed in the morning when I wake up and be like, I gotta get in the studio.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
right.
oh
I
my god.
got this song today. Damn, dude. Like, that's not how I think. Like my
That's
wife's
like the
got to
only thing we want to do.
yeah, dude. Like my wife's got to pull me upstairs sometimes, literally, like from my shirt. Like come upstairs and spend time with me type shit.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I feel you on that.
so, but it's a passion, man. I love to do it, and I know that it's gonna do wonders for me in my career, and I'm gonna get really, really good at it, and eventually it's gonna blow up. I've never been more sure or had a gut feeling like this about anything in my life, and I've thought that I was gonna go to college and play basketball and get drafted to the NBA at one
Hey,
point.
Let's
hey,
go!
Yeah, I
Team
swear.
NBA dreams.
Yeah.
Team NBA dreams.
And then I thought I was going to be a professional skateboarder at one point in time because I was
Okay.
sponsored for skateboarding. And then I thought I was going to, open my own vape shop because I worked at a vape shop for years. And I was like, oh, I'm going to open my own vape shop. And then the FDA decided to say, fuck you. We're going to put all these regulations on you. And now all of a sudden I don't want to do that anymore.
Right.
And, I've thought all these things for how I was going to lay out my life and what I was going to do. And music has just been like, I've always been passionate about music, not necessarily about making it, but now that I've incorporated making music and I've seen the outcome and I've seen
Right.
the growth and I've seen the feedback that I get,
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to do anything else with my life.
Right.
yeah,
I feel that.
absolutely.
So this is it for me. If music didn't work out, then I consider myself an absolute failure.
Yes,
That's it for
and
me.
that's how it
That's
That's
it.
it
feels.
for me, man.
Yeah. One thing that you brought to mind, I'm kind of backtracking a little bit, but I did want to address it, is when you were talking about the stress and like, the kind of the aftermath of learning how to kind of manage it and kind of cope with it. One of the things that I do in my job, which kind of frustrates me a little bit because they aren't as invested in it. And I think that they just don't understand because they maybe don't go through it as much or as hard or whatever. But we try to teach these kids about stress management and how to maintain their mental health. And when we put on these clinics and these workshops and stuff, they're not kind of diving into it, and it's frustrating because one, because they tell us that they want to learn about mental health and stress and all that other stuff, and then we finally do it, and then they don't show up, or they're like, not today, we'll do it another day. So, but it brings me to my point of, because as a kid, I feel they should learn it, especially, in their teenage years, because, life is kind of so, carefree as a teen. And once you get into, like, the adult kind of ages and those responsibilities and, cars and houses and relationships and all those things, those are the things that really start to kind of build on that stress, unless, for some that, just have, either family issues that, growing up or whatever, or whatever circumstances that, just kind of come up. But, for the most part, it's those, the bills and the car and the house and the relationships that are the real kind of like stressors, especially when they pop up all at once, like they did for you, and they don't know how to deal with it. So then they end up spiraling into, kind of darker situations. They start getting that depression and things of that nature, and then they have to learn how to cope with it and manage it and go see a therapist, or take medication, or whatever, whatever is quote unquote prescribed to them that will help them, instead of, being more open to receiving that at a much earlier age. And again, I'm going on a tangent, but that's one of the things that one of the reasons why I started this podcast, because we address so many things after something has happened. And I think that's, far beyond even music. We address things so far after something, whether bad has happened or something wrong has happened, instead of educating before and teaching, those things. Like we talk about, you know, teen dating violence at my job too. And I'm trying to get to the point of, in another example is we talk about teen dating violence, but instead of just saying, teen dating violence is happening, these are the all the bad things that are happening with, dating and relationships with teens, we say this is what a good relationship looks like. This is how you can have a positive relationship, because then you just cut that whole back end process out, because the kids only see what a good relationship is. You never get down that road of teen dating violence and then, oh, now I got to, figure out a way to process through it. I already know what a good relationship is, so I can either nip it in the bud before the negativity starts, or me and my partner know what a good relationship is, so we know how to communicate, we know how to do all those things that make a good relationship flourish, and we never even touch on those things. I mean, you're going to have your hiccups. I'm not going to say every relationship is perfect, I know. But you know what I'm saying? You avoid kind of those harder scenarios. You make it a
Yeah.
lot more easier for yourself in the back end than, you know.
Absolutely, man. And I mean, like you said, not every relationship is perfect. I'm another living, breathing, example of that. And my wife and I, we've been together 9.5 years,
Hmm.
and we've been through some shit. Like, it was bad for a long time.
Hmm.
Not really a long time, but like it was real bad. And we went through a lot of that. I'd honestly say, like, more than half of the couples around would not be able to last through.
Oh,
Uh,
100%.
but
100%.
like legal issues, and when there's a kid in the mix, and like it was like, I don't want to say legal issues like anything crazy, but like
Right, right.
with the custody and like all this stuff, and like we were going at each other's throats, and just
Still
it
a
was,
lot.
yeah. But like you come out stronger because you actually love the person, and that's speaking on just the relationship stuff. But as far as like
Right.
the stress and mental health, man, like you mentioned something about you try to teach these kids early, and it's like they don't want to take it serious. Like, they want to learn about it, but then something comes up where they have the opportunity to learn about it and they don't want to take it serious,
Hmm.
and they don't show up. But the funny thing about that is that they're going to eventually, if they don't take it seriously, because mental health is a huge thing, and especially in today's generation where there's
Yeah, seriously.
cyberbullying, and all this stuff with kids getting bullied at school and school shootings and blah blah blah, like
And
all these.
social media
Yeah,
trying to match up what social media says they should be, and then,
yeah,
they're changing who they are for whatever reason, because they want to fit in, because that's what social media tells them to do, and then
yeah,
all of a sudden, things go haywire.
yeah. And like, when they don't take it serious like that, especially in that kind of generation, it's one of those things where it's like, you may not take it seriously now, but then when shit hits the fan and you actually have a legitimate anxiety attack where you feel like you're about to meet your maker,
Yeah.
like, that's when you're going to start taking it serious. And that's what I would never want. I would never want that for either of my daughters.
Right.
I want to show them the good examples. Like, I'm going to teach my daughter how to, I already kind of do, throw little hints at how to defend themselves, but my daughter's only 7, my stepdaughter's 13, but I want to teach them self-defense.
Hmm.
I want to teach them, how to, hold themselves accountable for certain things. I want to teach them things that school doesn't teach or just won't teach anymore. I want to teach them how to shoot. I want to,
Yeah.
because it's not far-fetched anymore.
It's not. It's not.
When I was growing up, granted, I'm not like, back in my day or anything, but like,
Right. Right.
but
Right.
when I was growing up, I mean, I don't, how old are you? You're in your 30s,
I'm
right?
34 too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, me and you I thought we were the same age. So like, when we were growing up, that stuff, nobody thought about that. Like, we didn't
No.
have social media poisoning our brain. We didn't have, school shootings every other month. We didn't have any of that
Yeah.
crazy stuff going on. So we wanted to go outside and play, not bury our face in a tablet and watch other people play with Play-Doh and slime for 5 hours. Like,
Seriously, dude, you
It's
can give me
crazy.
insight.
Yeah, but like, when you think about it, as far as like stress and mental health, like that's kind of why I I do what I do and I say what I say in a lot of my music. Like some of it comes off as like sometimes I just want to be cocky and just spit bars and just talk shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it happens.
it's yeah, it's just
It happens.
As you should. Yeah.
Come on.
but rap is a competitive sport, right? Rap what was it? I forget who said this. I want to say it was Drake, but I can't remember if it was Drake or if it was Kanye or somebody, but they said rap is a contact sport.
I think it was Drake. I'm
I think
pretty
it was
sure.
Drake
I've
too.
heard that bar before
Yeah.
for sure.
Rap is a contact sport. So like I don't want to get punked, so I got to keep my bars sharp. So
Yeah,
that's
you don't
why
want to get
sometimes
blindsided.
yeah, it's like, so that's why sometimes I'm just like, I'm just going to spit bars and I'm just going to talk shit about whatever I feel like talking shit about.
Yeah,
And it turns out to be dope. And people are like, dude, this is dope. I love it. And I'm like, all right, cool. Thank you. But I mean, for the most part, I like more of myself talking about those issues like mental health and like depression. And like I have a song that I haven't even recorded yet. I did make the beat for it. I'm still kind of tinkering with it a little bit. I might make a few
yeah.
changes, but I did make the beat for it. But the song is called Let Me Be.
Mm,
And it's about battling depression and anxiety and stress and all this, and you just want it to let you be. And no matter how hard you try and fight it, it just keeps coming at you like for more rounds, and you're just like,
mhm.
bro, I just want you to leave me alone.
Yeah, facts.
And like you just get buried in it no matter how hard you try. It's like it just doesn't let you be. So like that's what the whole rest of that song's gonna be. And I spit verses to a couple homies of mine that hosts, and
Mm,
they were like, dude, this is huge. Like this is something that way too many people can relate to, and this is gonna blow up for you once you actually get it done. And I'm really excited for that one. But I like doing stuff like that and making songs like that because you're gonna hit that group of people and that crowd that listens to music as an escape.
mhm. Oh yeah,
When they feel like stress and anxiety and depression and sadness and all those negative auras won't let you be and won't leave you alone. Like they're gonna listen to a song and be like, I feel this on an emotional and spiritual level. Like,
right.
and that's gonna be what you use to reach out and, quote unquote, reach out and touch your fans. And
Right.
and that's what I'm kind of wanting to do with this Crash Landing album is really focus on not just my own, humbleness and growth. I've come to conclusion that I need to have for myself. I need to take myself off of my own pedestal and realize that I'm vulnerable also.
Right. And like people hear the music and they'll we sometimes we don't realize what we actually need to hear, and like you hear that and it's like, oh holy shit, like I've been feeling this way for a while and hadn't recognized it enough. I haven't been able to put it into words, and this what I heard right here like sums it all up. That that's like the direction that I take in my music as well, and of course Jay Faith,
Yeah,
all three of us do. um, my last album, well, yeah, my most recent album was called Lord Forgive Me, talking about like all the things that I had gone through.
Yeah.
Before that, I had like only like the majority was like positive, songs. But with this project, I really opened up and
Hmm.
let people see like me for me, and it helped me through what I was going through, and just as much so for anybody that hears it. um I we all have our turn up tracks, but like
yeah,
that really separates us once we like really talk about like the deep issues that we're going through internally, and it helps anybody else just as much or more. um so it's it important to
right.
cut deep, um, at least like a song or two, at the very least, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Yeah. And I mean, I think it shows your true artistry too when you can switch it up like that and be good on multiple spectrums, right? Like, you know, you take a rapper like Eminem, who's phenomenal at freestyling. He's phenomenal at punchlines and really
All
having
right.
those bars that make you think. Like,
yeah,
so like, what was it? In Not Alike off the Kamikaze album when he was talking all that shit to MGK and he was like, because this bar is over your head, so you better have arms if you're gonna pull up.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
It took me a second to I had to
Yo,
rewind that
wait,
like 4
what?
times,
Yeah.
and I was like, "What the hell did he just say?" And like, I'm the type of person that I'm gonna dissect your bars. Like, I'm gonna rewind it and listen back and be like, "Did he think or did he say what I think he just said?" And then be like, "Yeah, he totally said that." And like, that's the kind of thing that he's good at, right? But then you look at artists uh like NF. You know,
hmm
Oh
NF is somebody who, you know, really has passion in his voice and he raps about his internal struggles and he
yeah,
raps about, you know, problems that are going on in the world and he blows it up and uses his platform, but he can also switch it up and make a turn up song. So like
yeah.
things like that,
yeah,
and like even artists that can rap and sing, like
mhm,
I sing on a couple of my songs. You know, I had a song called Singing in the Rain that
yeah,
that was really the hardest song I've ever had to recite in a booth by myself,
yeah,
and it was still difficult when I was alone in my studio doing it, like because
yeah.
it was real and raw and stuff that I hated to admit to myself that that's how I was, but I
Right.
released that song and it got great feedback because people were like, this is you. Like I like hearing
Yeah.
your story and like you open yourself up and I rapped like the last little bit. I sang 2 verses and a hook
Nice.
and I completely took myself out of my comfort zone.
hmm
But it's all a true story. Like it's all
Yeah.
every lyric that I say in there. And I'm not saying that I lie in any of my raps because I don't, but like,
Right.
you know, that is raw and real and like something that I was very uncomfortable doing. And I think that people appreciate that when you can show that side of yourself.
Right.
Yeah, it's amazing too when you get feedback that you don't expect. When I dropped voicemails just this past November, I dropped the video and everything with it. I like I told everybody else, I just did the whole song. I mean, and the project that it's attached to, I did the whole project for me. I didn't do it for you know, I mean, hopefully people will relate to it, but I did it for me. This was something that I had to process and get through and everything else. And when I dropped it, and then I hear, people from like Chicago who are, friends of friends that, listen to my music that have never heard my music, and then they hear it and they see the video and they're, in awe and inspired by, what I'm saying. And it's just good to hear that a lot of people were able to connect to it as far as like family struggles and just some suffering that you have to go through as far as that goes. And all those things. It was just dope to actually have people that could relate to it, which was not saying that people can't relate to what I was saying, but again, it wasn't my expectation. My expectation was, here's a video, here's a song, this is something that I created that was for me, and you can basically take it or leave it. And to have those people kind of connect with it without whatever, it's super dope.
Yeah, it's always a good feeling when people give you good feedback on stuff that you're not expecting good feedback on. And to be honest, those are usually the tracks that end up getting that kind of feedback.
Yeah.
Something that you're not expecting and you're like, I don't even know. Like on my Look at Me Now album, there was a song called Sinatra. It's the
hmm
third song on the album. And I thought my own opinion of it was that it was one of the weakest songs on the album. And I it almost didn't make the cut. And then my wife was like, "You need to put this on there." And I was like, I don't know. I don't see I don't see how it ties in with the rest of the album. I mean, yeah, it's a dope song, but I wanted to release it as a single.
Hmm.
Because it's like it's got like a jazzy kind of, trumpet kind of sound, and it's very Frank Sinatra, who I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah.
I have been since I was a kid. My mom and my, a bunch of people in my family were all Italian, so like they were always listening to Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin plays, people like that. But
Sounds about
I
right.
yeah, I'm a huge fan of Frank Sinatra, and so I called the song Sinatra, and I was like, nah, I'm not feeling it for this album, and it almost didn't make the cut, and then I decided to just say, fuck it, I'm just gonna put it on there, and it turned out being one of the top played songs on the album.
Nice.
And everybody was like all my homies were like, bro, this song hits in my car. I love listening to this car with my sound system, or I love listening to this song with my sound system in the car. I love,
Yeah.
some of the bars that you say in this song. Like they're dope, they're cocky, they're fun, it's a dope track. And I was like blown away. Like I was like, man, I have so much actual, like, uh what's the word that I'm looking for? I have so much more I want to say consistency. Maybe consistency in some of the other songs,
Mm.
and you thought that was the one that was good?
Right.
Like, what about this one? This is my
Yeah.
favorite song. Oh yeah, that one's all right. Like, damn dog, like
You
but
just had like more
like,
pride. You had like more pride in those other
It's
ones. You had
almost
more
like,
feeling.
no, not that one, dude, not
Just
that one.
ignore
yeah,
that.
Right.
Look
yeah,
at these ones. Check
yeah.
these out.
Yeah.
But everybody's different, right? So like, you can't tell people what to listen to and what they're gonna like.
Yeah.
You have to accept and understand as an artist that, it's kind of like what's the saying? One man's trash is another man's
Another man's
treasure,
treasure.
right?
Yeah.
So like what might be garbage to you as far as a song or something that you just thought was meh,
Yeah.
or as today's generation, something that's
Right. Yeah.
mid, right? So it's like whatever, it's
Yeah.
okay, and that might be the one that blows you up,
Right.
and
Exactly.
Yeah.
you'll never
It was like
know. So
fight off of moving out. Fight.
Oh
And
yeah.
then Chemical's like,
Yeah.
yo, that's the jam. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, I honestly thought like I just kind of the tune just popped in my head. I put it together. I put it on the album, and that was it. But she was like, "No, that song is dope." I'm like, "All right, I'll
Yeah.
perform it." All right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Now even to this day, even when I don't perform Sinatra at my shows, my buddy Donnie, he's in love with that song. He's like, dude, are you doing every time he comes to a show of mine? He's like, bro, you play Sinatra tonight? No, not tonight, bro. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And
See,
I'm
yeah,
like, all
exactly.
right, relax. And I mean, he's not really leaving, but at
Yeah,
least I
yeah,
hope
yeah.
not.
Yeah.
But
And like
it's
that part helps us grow too, because that's how we find diversity. It's like, oh, this one was like way far like out of my element, but I'm gonna keep doing that now, and tying everything else together. And now you've expanded that much more because this person like this song that you didn't expect him to like we said before.
yeah,
Shows you what you're
You
more capable
right,
of than you
exactly. Like
think.
you could
yeah,
have a country track like bluegrass as hell, but it worked, and
yeah,
that's yeah, whatever works.
yeah.
The music is for everybody,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
And everybody takes it in differently too. There's so many different personalities out there, and so many different interests out there. You can't ever, and that's why I've made it a point to really focus myself as an artist on playing multiple styles.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
like,
Facts.
you dip your hand into multiple cookie jars, if that makes sense, right? Like, or
Yeah, for sure.
definitely,
you put multiple eggs in multiple baskets. You don't want to. I don't want every time somebody hears a project from Theory, I don't want it to be, oh, he's just gonna rap, he's just gonna spit bars, and it's gonna get
right,
boring. Just another album where he's talking shit about
Yeah.
the
Somebody. Yeah.
people who are hating on him, and like, it's no same as last album, just with different beats. Cool. Like,
Right.
I want it to be something where like I didn't expect that from him. That's actually really dope.
Right.
yeah,
So that's, like I said, man. There's so many different things, ideas for the upcoming music. So many plans already set in motion, and I'm just really excited for everybody to hear everything that's going to be coming this year.
Yes, sir.
It's going to
Oh,
be
yeah.
big stuff. I'm talking to some bigger artists to get myself on a bigger platform, doing features with some bigger artists. One of them I'm a huge fan of, and I'm pretty sure my wife would leave me for him if she had the chance. But
I believe
no,
that.
I'm just kidding. But well,
Yeah,
at least
I got you.
I'd hope not. But
Right, yeah, right. I
uh,
hope not.
but no, I mean, she's a huge fan. I'm a huge fan. We connected on Instagram, and he's talked to me a few different times, and it's been mostly my end with not having the funds available to pay him for the feature. But I
Feel
mean,
that.
it's not it's not unreachable. It's something that I
Yeah.
just gotta save up a little bit for, but it won't take too long. And by the time I get that done, it's gonna be a slow song too. So like, I
Mm.
mean, we're gonna be rapping, but it's gonna be a completely different sound than people are used to hearing from me. And to have somebody of a much larger stature of an artist to have him on that song with me is going to be epic, and I'm really excited for it. So
Dope, man.
Yeah.
a lot of
Can't
big
wait
moves
to.
coming, man.
Can't wait, man.
Stop, Sadie, stop shaking the table. My daughter's sitting next to me. She's like shaking the whole desk.
It's all good.
Trying to mess you up.
Yeah, she. Oh shit! Almost kicked my mic over. Um, no, she's. I don't know if y'all noticed. She was back here. She like sliding on her knees across the freaking screen, and I'm looking, and I'm like, am I seeing that right? What did my wife put in dinner tonight?
No, I missed that one.
Yeah, well, good, because if the video gets posted, somebody's gonna be like, "This dude's just got kids in his basement, man." Like,
These are
like way
his
to go.
kids, ladies and gentlemen. These
Yes,
are
they are
his
my kids.
kids.
Wait a minute.
There's
Plot
not too
twist.
yeah, right. Even bigger
Yeah.
plot twist than the end of his album.
Right, my podcast.
My next album's gonna be written from jail.
Yeah, right. Didn't R. Kelly just do that? Didn't he just drop like a whole like project from jail or something? But yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
gross. But
Oh,
anyways,
she wants to say hi. Yeah,
Hi.
hi,
that's
hi, Sadie.
she daddy's girl for sure.
Absolutely,
All right,
as they
goldfish.
should.
Oh yeah, she's attached at my hip.
I never want him to leave the house because I always want to cuddle him.
She's silly.
All good,
But
man.
yeah, it's interesting, and that kind of goes along with another thing too, man. Like I really want to show my kids that like you can do something that you love, and as long as you stay persistent and consistent, and you put
Yeah,
forth the effort and put in the work, you can do whatever you set your mind to. Like it's
sure,
no dream that's unattainable, kind of thing,
for sure. Yeah,
and
yeah,
and show them that that it's possible to have a positive impact on people and chase your dream. And if I could do it, you could do it too, kind of thing. Like,
definitely.
I don't want to. I never met my biological father, and
Same
uh,
here.
my mom got married when I was like 11 or 12 or something, and my stepdad, I love him to death. Um, they got divorced in 2010, but uh, him and I are still close. And I mean, he never really made me feel inferior to anything that I wanted to do. Like
Mm,
when I told him I wanted to go to college and play basketball and get drafted to the NBA, he was out there in the alley, with my hoop that was on my gutter in the garage, out there shooting with me, playing games with
dope.
me, and hanging out and doing that. So, and he supports my music completely. So I want to
That's
keep
dope.
that same kind of thing going for my kids,
Absolutely.
and cultivate it at our age, so you guys can have a positive influence, and
Right.
eventually, you guys can grow up to do things that'll change the world and put a positive footprint into the world.
Absolutely, it's important. It's what's
Yeah.
needed.
Well, the kids are our future, right? So you got to cultivate that, and it's a real thing. So it's teach them right early, and you won't have problems later. But unfortunately, not everybody has that mentality.
Right. Facts.
I want to take my stepdaughter out of her school right now. Oh my God, she comes home every day from school. She's talking about this fight, that fight. This kid said this, and that kid started boxing with this kid at lunch, and da da da. The teacher doesn't care, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I just
Right.
kid,
Yeah.
little girl.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. But
Well, man,
yeah,
before we wrap up, where can people kind of connect with you? Get to know you a little bit further, find your music, all that fun stuff.
yeah. I mean, you guys can find me on any platform. I'm on Facebook. Just look up Th30ry. It's Th30ry. It's not an O, it's a 0. That's where
Yeah.
most people can't find me. Whole thing with that is I was 30 when I started rapping, so
That is dope.
Ah,
I
Yeah.
put that in there. Yeah,
that
my
man.
homie actually,
Okay.
I can't take credit for that. My homie came up with the name. My buddy Anthony. So shout out Anthony Blair. You came up with
I
that name,
always
but
wondered why.
yeah. I started at
That's
30,
dope.
so yeah. He found a cool little name, but. You look up Th30ry on any streaming platform, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music. I'm on like a ton of them anywhere. You guys can subscribe to my YouTube, Theory, same thing. Uh, I mean, Facebook, Instagram. My Instagram handle is Theory_official. Or no, I'm sorry. That's my TikTok. I don't even know what my handles are
Yeah.
anymore. I have to keep
I
up with
feel
so
you on
many
that.
damn ones. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's Theory_official. That's what I was right.
Dope.
TikTok Theory, and then 2 official, the number 2, and then official. Uh, yeah, just link up, man. Listen to the music. Got a lot of nice stuff out so far. Really
You're
nice stuff coming out, and join me on the journey.
Oh yeah. Journey through space. Let's get it.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
well. Thanks,
Well, I'm on
man.
the
I
way down
really.
now.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. You are. Well, you already crash landed.
Yeah.
We just don't know what
Yeah,
happened.
Right.
we just I don't even
We
know what
don't know
happened
where
yet.
you're at.
Yeah. So, man, I really want to thank you. I'm glad that we could get this kind of worked out, and have you back on here and have this conversation. I appreciate you, man, so much.
Yeah, man, dude, it's always a pleasure. Y'all don't be strangers. Maybe we should collab one day
Absolutely.
Oh
again.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We are.
We will.
NSFW was dope, and so was On My Own. I heard that in the car the other day. I heard both of those songs
Yeah.
came on in my shuffle in the car on the way home from work. I was driving from Lexington,
Sick.
Kentucky. I had like an hour and a half drive, and I just shuffled my music on my playlist, and both of those songs came
Sure
out, and I
enough.
was like, man, these are slappers, bro.
Yeah, definitely
So
slappers. We gotta
yeah, but y'all don't
relaunch
be
this.
strangers, man. I appreciate you having me, man. Thank you so much, and it was nice to meet you too, bro.
Good meeting you, man. Of course.
Yeah. Hopefully, this is one of many times we'll be able to collab.
Definitely glad we got to chop it up.
Yeah. Y'all have a good rest of your night, and stay safe.
You too, man.
You too.
Well, my name is Jay Faith.
This is Life.
Theory, and this is the Right Mind Wednesdays podcast. We'll catch y'all next time. What's up?
What's up?